Okay, so we're live now. This is Buddy Lord and Xevious. We haven't been
Good
devious
evening.
in a while.
No, it's been a while, but we were trying to have a business meeting, or at least I was, but we got off topic, so we might as well just do it. Might as well do it live.
Yeah, do we want to show what we were looking at? Can we do that? Can we show Twitter?
What do we want to show them? What you mean, YouTube? What?
Oh no, can we show? Can we share your screen or my screen and take a look at these interesting individuals?
Oh, the folks on Twitter.
Yeah.
Yeah, share your screen. Sure.
All
Yeah,
right,
let's see
let me find it first.
Yeah. So while you're doing that, so yeah, we're working on a comic book. It's coming along nicely.
Yeah.
We launch in 4 weeks, but I got distracted for like 2 minutes last night, and I tweeted about how Picard. I was about halfway through it. I was 20 minutes in, and it sucked. It really had a lot of things not working for it, and I tried twice to watch it. So I just posted a picture of the beautiful Sigourney Weaver as it's Gwen. What's her last name, buddy? Do you remember? You know?
I don't remember. I just remember, what was it? Galaxy Quest was. I mean, it's kind of it's like the father to Orville, right?
Exactly. Yep.
And I thought it was such a great show. I mean, yeah, it was created as a satire to make fun of the meta of the filmmaking or the show making process and everything, and and some of the tropes. Like, she was supposed to be the hot, dainty chick that didn't say anything. But I mean, I liked her character as she was in Galaxy Quest, kind of a ballsy, take no bullshit, broad.
Yeah,
but she didn't have to yell at people to show that she was awesome.
Mm-hmm. And in fact, she was. I mean, that movie is so clever because you've got a movie about real people making a TV show, and it's so seamlessly done. Where actually you get to watch basically what was like watching TNG or the Orville, and then of course you have behind the scenes the real people. And so Weaver's character is a tough, smart chick, and playing the bimbo is not. She's not happy about it. Yeah, but it's complicated. And Tim Allen, and again, I mean, one of the first people I replied to, she's way smarter than him in that movie. I mean, he's an alcoholic and he's not very bright. So, that movie is almost 20 years old. There's no gender things. There's no lesson.
See, I think people are conflating the issue here. Like, they see this hot chick and they immediately think you want a dumb broad. Like, let's talk about your exes. Because you don't date dumb broads.
No, or marry them, frankly. Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, one of your exes is like a concert level flutist, right? That tours with a couple major bands, at least one.
Yep.
And major goes band. All over the world to do that. Okay, right? And then the other is I know she's married to like a Fox executive or something, but I don't know what she does. What does she do?
She's an ex-model who worked at Playboy for a long time.
All right, maybe that's not a good.
Yeah, but she did. But no, she's a tough chick. She's very smart. She's very pretty, and she married the vice president. Well, I won't say exactly which department, but a VP at Fox in Los Angeles.
Well, I had this. I mean, one dude came in here. And he was talking about. Let's see if we can find this tweet. He's like, "What is it? This guy's Fedorable, the horrible says Star Trek used to be about having hope in the face of adversity and exploration. Now it's fuck this, fuck that. And let me chop this Klingon's head off, bigot." Okay.
I missed that one. What's he talking about?
I have no idea.
Yeah. Who's the bigot?
I don't know. I should be drinking, I think. Maybe I should go get a whiskey.
Sure. Did you put this did you tweet this out? I gotta find it.
Yeah, I tweeted it out.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
Let's see. Soon they're gonna ruin Captain Kirk too. Ichibaka says, "So glad I'll never watch it."
Ichibaka.
There we go. Kim Lundstrom. Really? Friendlier representation? Oh, the horror of women expressing emotions. Get bent. Who's saying anything about women expressing emotions?
Not me. No, I think.
I mean, what are these like? You know, I say these. Let's see. Well, you're accustomed to privilege. Equality feels like oppression. Oh God, he's one of those. Yep. Okay. I mean, you could. Is it not like you can almost just like pick these people out? Intersectional feminism, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, using ethnicity like a goddamn scorecard, saying this and that and blah blah blah. This is what I think. Okay. You know what privilege does? Privilege. If it was privilege makes you weak.
Mm-hmm.
That's what privilege does.
Sure.
So if we had privilege, you should be fucking glad, because that's why you're able to be where you are. Because it's through struggle that we get stronger. It's through struggle that we grow, you dumb son of a bitch.
Yep. Wow, but look at this time. He's got 22 likes on that.
Yeah, you know, so, I mean, his mom. Yeah. I know I'm an asshole, right?
You're totally an asshole.
I can be that way. I want to see. Let's see. What are the brilliant replies we've got to this? You tell him, beta male. Imagine using the term beta male unironically. The guy who popularized alpha and beta behavior in wolf packs later debunked his own work. See? He's not wrong. See? Okay, guys.
Okay, you want to get into that?
It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. For one, this isn't a paper. You're throwing out businessinsider.com for something that is a psychological term. For two, again, it doesn't matter. I mean, there was a guy named Adam something or other that went on with Joe Rogan, and he was saying the same thing. And Rogan said that he's like, "What's it matter?" He's like, "Anywhere you go, there's like big, strong, charismatic dude, and he leads everybody, and everybody looks up to him." You go and if you go into a boardroom with like any of the PayPal mafia, if any of the 7 of them walk into a fucking boardroom, I guarantee you everybody looks at them. I guarantee it.
No, it's that's the way life is. I mean, you walk into a place and you've got 10 guys standing around. One guy is going to take over that room in about a minute or two.
Yeah, you call it whatever you want. Call it je ne sais quoi. Call it charisma. Call it what is it? Moxie, gumption, whatever. You call it whatever you want, brother. It's there. It exists. Yep. Let me tell you. And then somebody came up with a brilliant answer or reply like to X a little while ago and said, "Oh well, because X said, oh, it's in the dictionary," and they're like, "Oh well, so is dragon," and that's not well. Okay, let me tell you something. If you're gonna go with science, right here. If you're going to go with science, then what about the 63 genders? Because science says they don't exist.
Yep. Yeah, but I mean, it's the kind of thing. I mean, I like the word ineffable. It's a good word in something like this. I mean, you can call it alpha male. You can call it strawberry banana milkshake male, whatever you want. That's the one people want to talk to. That's who people want to be friends with and hang out with. Yeah. And this, things have changed now a bit. But when you take a bunch of kids in grade 2, it's still the same way, and it'll be that way till you die. That's life.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the way it is. There are some people that are like just that everybody listens to, and there's some people that nobody cares about, and that's just that's just the way it is. I mean, even among you have like ants, right? You've got like the soldier ants, they do the fighting, and then you've got like the like worker ants, and the worker ants are I mean, they work together, they do their thing, but they're not the soldier ants.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of like that's all it is.
Well, I mean, this to me is a lot of sort of off topic, but I mean, I like to tag things like this with fandom menace.
Mm-hmm.
And you notice that this group started to arise about 2 years ago, 2.5. And whether you want to be really specific about personality traits, the guys who are the people you want to be friends with and hang out with, like the alpha kind of guys. Jeff Hicks is a big smart dude. Jeremy's a big smart dude. Ethan's a big smart dude. You may like them, you may not like them, but these are not sort of wispy underwater ballet majors talking about what bugs them about the world. Those guys aren't going to get very far. And that's the people who sit and snipe on Twitter, right? Like all these guys.
Yeah. When we look at it, stay-at-home mom, geek, gamer, artist, Trekkie, ally, intactivist. What is an intactivist?
Oh, dude. Okay. I know what an intactivist is.
You know what that is? Okay.
It means she's an activist for keeping genitals intact. Specifically, it means she's anti-circumcision.
That's a thing?
It's a thing.
Oh my God.
That's your fucking Twitter profile? Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. Okay, so oh yes, replace those angry, bitter women with something more representative, with her tits hanging out the whole film. Don't get me wrong, GQ's amazing as Weaver, because it was satirizing those stereotypes. Her character was not a good representation of women. What is a good representation of women? Why can't women be a lot of things?
Well, yeah, I
Why
mean, if you
can't
want to,
I go to the club, I go to the bar. Guess what? There are women with their tits hanging out. You know
well,
why? Because they want a dude.
you know what I think? If these guys want to play both sides and then change the rules every fucking day, is what kind of women is best? How about all kinds of women? It's called diversity.
Exactly. Thank you. Diversity is not ethnical group. It's like a woman doing what she wants, where she wants, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I'm not for it, but I remember, there was this chick, Lindsay, when I was in high school. Everybody knew you give Lindsay a couple of beers, she jumps on the table,
Mm-hmm.
She does a dance.
Okay, that's one kind of girl.
I mean, I don't know if she's changed. Probably she has. Probably has a few kids now and everything. But back then, that's what she did.
Sure.
But nobody, I mean, if somebody's going to do that, if that's what they're doing, if they're doing it for them, what does it matter?
Yep.
Why do you get to tell people what's right and wrong?
Well, I mean, back up in the thread or maybe a bit later. I mean, I work for a living. I popped onto Twitter a few times last night, a few times today. Surprised to see this blow up. My point was that I sat down last night to relax and watch, 45 minutes of TV, and it was miserable. It was no fun. There was nothing good about it. It didn't feel like Star Trek.
Well, I mean, again, like this is supposed to be, everybody was talking about, like, there's a guy, Quinn something or other. He's a guy that goes on Mike's channel every once in a while. He does he's got like 1 million subscribers or something. Mm-hmm. He does book reviews, and he was talking about, I saw him talking about it, and he was saying, like, if people don't like this, they don't know, they don't know real Gene Roddenberry. And I mean, I've read a little bit about Gene Roddenberry, and I understand it's actually supposed to be science fiction and exploration and the hope and diversity and all that shit. Okay, well, here's my point. If the best we have to offer is a bunch of ethnic women yelling at a like misering, weak, feeble old man, then we're fucked.
Well, I think we're going down that road. That's how it felt to me watching it. Because
I mean, what is that seriously the best you've got? Women speak with confidence, conviction, and feeling to man. Why do they got to yell at him? If it's instruction, why are they screaming? If it's just like, hey, you're a little bit wrong, why are they treating him like that? I don't see the point. It's instructional, it's informational.
So I think you and I are on a bit of a different tack here right now, which is good. But to me, it's like, okay, have your fight on Twitter, give me a hard time all you want, but I want to watch Star Trek on TV. It's Thursday night. I've had a long day. Can I just have an hour to watch a good TV show?
No, I mean, that's what I'm getting at, though. I mean, I'm on that same line, is that I'm saying, like, look, and that's one of the things I was going to tell, like, Quinn, is that, like, it's the same thing as the alpha and beta male, really. It's there because they're like, oh, it doesn't exist. Well, it doesn't matter. Okay, it doesn't matter if it does or not. It really doesn't. It just matters what the perception is. And then we go into this, right? And we're talking about, and everybody's like, oh, well, Gene Roddenberry's vision was like this. That doesn't matter. Because the one that people remember, the one with Captain Kirk and then the one with Picard, the two that were really good,
yep,
that most of our generation remembers and that really made the most money and the most headway, we're not anything like that.
No, and I want to be clear, by the way, I thought Catherine Janeway was great. Voyager was not as good a show. I thought Sisko was an awesome captain in Deep Space Nine. Mm-hmm. And there's your diversity, and that goes back 20 years. But it was not discussed, but it never, ever hurt the story, not once.
He had a great thing to say about diversity.
Oh, who did?
The guy who played the captain, Sisko or whatever on Deep Space Nine. He was like, basically he said that he didn't want it to be a big deal, that it shouldn't be a big deal, because by making it a big deal, you diminish his role. And the whole thing was this was supposed to be a moment of triumph for everyone, not just him. Mm-hmm. And I was like, damn, that's pretty that's pretty stone cold,
It was.
Just Some Guy's got a great video on it, so I don't want to cover it too much. If you want to go to Just Some Guy's channel and check it out, he's got a great video on that. But regardless, like, this is just stupid because, I mean, this is supposed to be this show, right? Picard's supposed to be what we hope for, what we hope in the future is going to be. Like, it's supposed to be great. Mm-hmm. Now you're even telling fictional women to smile. Oh, yeah, that's really fucking clever. You know what? Being miserable all the time doesn't help anybody. I don't see how, like, yelling at somebody and being miserable is doing anything. Like, if the point of the series, if you're going to tell me the point of the series Because you're saying it's entertainment. Well, it's not entertaining. And they're saying it's no, well, the point of the series is supposed to be it's going to be the best of what we have to offer. Okay, well, if the best of what we've got to offer is a whole bunch of miserable fucking old ladies yelling at an old man, what does that prove?
It doesn't prove anything, but what's going to happen? What's happening, time and time again over the last couple of years is no one's going to watch it. Like, I may not tune in next Thursday. I mean, are you going to watch it ever?
I mean, it's definitely not high on my list.
Yep. Yeah, like you just sort of leave away kind of feeling, after I've watched the first 3, I've left going, that was a thing that happened. And I've carried on with my day. I mean, that's it. There's somebody else on Twitter, there's no joy. And I think I stole this line.
Yeah. He's like, I love TNG as well, but that Star Trek was never believable. Who wanted it to be believable?
No, it wasn't. There's a lot to be said for escapism.
Yeah.
I can't say enough about escapism.
People realized a long time ago that Star Trek, as it was completely written, didactic, pedantic, and boring, was not going to sell. They changed it. They changed it to something that would sell, guys. Gene Roddenberry's vision is not being realized because it's boring.
But he was a good writer. And I mean, he had a rabid fan base.
Yeah, but nobody wants to. I mean, that's like it's like Starship Troopers. Starship Troopers, the book was boring. Then they made the movie, and it was just like, he's flipping and shooting a hole into the top of large cretinous creatures and throwing grenades in them, and everybody was like, hell yeah, because what you're talking to is you want to talk to everybody, but when you're just talking about diplomacy and kind of exploration and stuff, it's like, I remember they had a game, like a video game that failed, like a crowdfunded video game that completely failed like a few years ago or something, because all it did was literally recreate, like everywhere you went you did the same thing. It was just a new world with a bunch of like pre-made quests, that were randomly pre-made quests, and you would just pop up and it would just populate, and then you would just do your thing, and it got boring because that's all you did. Well, guess what? If that's all Star Trek was, that would be boring.
Yeah, but I mean, old Star Trek, I mean, I haven't watched them for about 10 years, but they re-released all of the original series in HD. And I watched them all. Have you seen them? Like the old Star Trek?
No, I haven't seen them.
Okay. No, but they're good. I mean, the casting was diverse, but they didn't really talk about it much. And anything that they did that dealt with that, I mean, there's a classic episode, the title I forget, where they have these guys with one half of their face is black and one half is white, right? This is pretty powerful stuff in 1968. But if your face was black on the left side or the white side, they were warring with the other guys where the color on their faces were flipped, but they otherwise looked exactly the same. And it's a one episode. It's really good. It's clearly about color of skin, and it shows that it's stupid. But it's just
I got to tell you, man. As somebody who has a PsyD in clinical psychology, it's annoying as fuck to see when people are always like, humanity is at its best when it recognizes and acknowledges people are and will always be flawed. If you want to make humanity flawless, you get into eugenics, yada, yada, yada. Okay, look, people, you can be flawed. No one says that people can't be flawed and that we can't see flawed people. We like to see flawed people. We don't like non-flawed people are like Ray. How come all these people love Ray, but then also want to show flaws too?
Yeah, that's a good point, actually. Everybody has flaws. I mean, everybody has flaws. It's fine. You do, I do. Anybody listening does.
We're all fucked up in our own way, man. We're all broken, and that's fine. You can show that, but like to emphasize that and not the climb against it is stupid. You can have flaws. You can be fucked up. All right. But what you need to do is realize that you're screwed up, take responsibility for it, and fix yourself. Okay? That's what you need to do. I mean, look, and if you can't do it yourself, then get an actual psychologist. Stop trying to fix yourself reading gender studies. Then stop trying to help. I see all these people that are like, oh, well, I'm going to help everybody else. Look, everybody's jumping all over him for saying a really simple thing, which is, I want a different kind of entertainment. He's allowed to want a different kind of entertainment. That doesn't make him a loser. It doesn't make him a prick. It doesn't make him anything else. You know?
Yeah.
Why can't we have, everybody's screaming about diversity. Well, why the fuck can't a white guy have diversity of entertainment?
Yeah. And that would be, well, basically anything you want. And it could change from week to week. But this has been 3 episodes of just cranky. I think I said actually right after this one. It's it's a lot of cranky old women yelling at a frail old man. But here on Twitter, I just got a comment just a second ago. If only her tits were hanging out during the whole film, that would have been nice, but they weren't. So is it the fact that she has tits a problem for you? Guys and many women like to see tits. You sound like you want a bitter woman role. Like, okay, that's this Shadow Man guy. Good point. Yeah, don't guys and girls like seeing a bit of cleavage on TV?
I think everybody likes to see a little bit of cleavage, a little bit of deference. I mean, that's like, what is it? Birds of Prey. Birds of Prey everybody looks like they're wearing a frumpy, colorful potato sack to me.
Yeah.
I mean, actually, everybody's like, I don't see how you don't find. Some guy was like, I don't see how you don't find Harley Quinn sexy. She's in a underalls and a bikini top. Well, first of all, she's in a mangy looking pink magenta, bikini top that looks like it was picked up off the garbage heap. So that doesn't look all that enticing to me. And then honestly, the overalls or underalls or whatever the heck they are look like the bottom piece of a fisherman's raincoat.
Mm-hmm.
None of that screams sexy to me. Just doesn't.
Yeah, and anybody who's talking about that, have they seen the comic books? Like, I mean, Harley Quinn in the books and all the different incarnations is a very sexy, very female. I mean, have you seen the James Gunn versions?
Oh yeah, man. And I get it. Like, people want to say, like, there's like Injustice and stuff where she's a bit different and she's a lot more feminist and she falls in love with Ivy instead of Joker and all this other stuff. And I think she even like beats Joker up and is like, just sit there and bleed, which is a cool scene and that's great and everything. I don't mind the emancipation of Harley Quinn, but I mean, every character's gay. Every character's differently, I don't know, like queer or whatever, and everything else. I'm sorry. The entire representation of LGBTGIA whatever is 6%.
Maybe. Yeah. Maybe.
So how come 7 of the most influential characters are all gay? Or something?
Yeah, are they?
Me? Yeah.
Okay. Why? Well, why I think it is. What's going on in Hollywood now? It's weird.
And it's just, I mean, you wonder why you're getting pushed back because you're shoving everybody into a corner and saying like it or you're a misogynist.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
See, I'm seeing it, but I'm seeing it up close and personal all through the last 24 hours where I didn't say anything about sexuality or expression or diversity or anything. I was kind of, I was being a bit tongue in cheek, but I basically said, can you make this show fun? Because this is not fun.
Yeah. And they don't want to make it fun. They want to make it like a therapy.
Yeah. Or a lesson.
I mean, like what he's saying, someone came to Rafi, someone she hated with a passion, rather than do nothing, she's helping and pulling herself back up. So it's got nothing to do with Picard. It's got to do with the women helping each other. Okay.
I don't quite. Hang on. Someone came to Rafi, someone who hated with a passion rather than do nothing. What is she helping? Okay, I'm not. Okay, sure.
I mean, I guess whatever, but it's like, again, like we're getting into, why don't all these shows have to teach me a lesson?
Well,
why is that what every single one of these stupid motherfuckers want to do?
Yeah. Well, that's the main thing for me. Like, I want my Star Trek movie or my Star Trek TV show. And frankly, I want my Star Wars movies back. In fact, after I watched this thing, a couple hours later, I recharged, took a bit of a break from work, and I watched Mandalorian, and I watched the last episode of Mandalorian, and I was tickled, man, because it's been a month since that thing ended.
I gotta say, like, after seeing some of these other shows and then watching Mandalorian, like, I was not big on. Remember, I was harsh. Like, you guys are all like, man, you're a Mando hater, because I only gave it like 6, 5, 7. I still don't think it's perfect, but I tell you what, it's a far cry than this. Do you know why people love Mandalorian? Because it didn't try to teach him a lesson.
There are so many reasons, And again, it's very fresh in my mind from the last 24 hours.
But that's the biggest. I mean, it's like, I read this book by Simon Sinek. It was like, ask why, and it's like you need to know the why. And he's talking about like businesses in the book, and he's talking about golden circle and the like how you feel your decisions instead of think them through and all these other kind of things. But you sort of go into the idea of, your business needs to have like a why. It needs to have a reason why it exists that is beyond just the money, because we don't think, we feel. And so you need something that you feel strongly for. And in these shows, like if you're trying to teach us something that we have to think about, we're not feeling it.
Well, have you seen even a bits of it, or not yet, right?
No. But I've seen shows like it, and I've seen like, people talk about it, and it's all kind of the same thing. And it just, it's hard for me to break. It's hard for me to think it could be anything else other than what every other show is. I mean, look at, like that was the first thing you told me. You're like, dude, it's just like anything else. It's like Star Wars. It's like, this show, that show. It's like all these different things that they've taken. Like, why do if everybody says that they want something new and everybody wants to provide this entertainment, and they're like, oh, well, we need diversity and this and that, then why do you keep using nostalgia to do it?
Well, it's not even that. I mean, they keep using the exact same devices. So, I mean, all you really need to know is that from the first 10 minutes or so of Picard, he's the old, he was the respected main guy, the core of, outside of Captain Kirk, it's Captain Picard for most people. Right? In a lot of ways, that's Luke Skywalker. And then we visit him, and he's not in his prime anymore, and he's broken, and he's beaten, he's been fired. And then a plucky young woman comes along, and she takes on like 8 Romulan assassins in her apartment, kills them all. And she weighs like 100 pounds, probably. She's 5'3", and she kills everybody a couple times.
Well, I mean, it is sci-fi. I mean, she could have, I don't know, like some sort of cool muscles. Did she do it with a gun? Did she have a taser?
Well, she's a cyborg, so sure, it's possible.
Okay, so she's a cyborg. So she's supposed to be really strong and fast and everything. That's fine. I mean, I don't mind any of that. I'm not going to get too much into that. That's cool. As long as there's a good looking scene, then fantastic. You know what I mean? But I guess I can see what you mean in that it always begins the same.
Well, basically, she is, and again, I'm not saying Mary Sue because they've at least justified it. She's a robot. But the guys now on the sidelines, she saves him from the assassins. The one scene, she's smarter, she's faster, she's tougher, and then she gets killed, which is a weird twist, but whatever. And I think there's a kind of a fake emotional beat you're supposed to get, but you don't get it because she's not very compelling.
I want to find this line that keep going, because I think it's kind of interesting. I mean, we're getting into this whole thing again, and it's been happening for a long time. It's not new, but keep talking about it.
So what we've got now is, it turns out, the cliffhanger bit is like, but she has a twin sister. So at this point now, what the story is about is going off to find the twin sister, and she's going to be the secret to the future of the galaxy, basically. So again, it's a young woman, and hey, she happens to be Asian again. It's kind of a bit of a mix of Rose Tico meets Rey, optically, right?
Yeah, I can't find this chick right now. But I was looking for Danica for Comic Girl 19. She had something very, very interesting to say the other day, which was that all these people were talking about, and I mean, it's, me, I think tangentially, so I'm going to tie this together, but give me a second. But where she was talking about the Joker movie, right? And Fight Club.
Yeah.
And this one person was like, imagine unironically talking about the Joker and Fight Club and white male rage and all this other bullcrap. And Danica came in and said, imagine taking these movies and not truly understanding them, not giving them the subtext and nuance that they deserve, and understanding, that civilization has failed miserably, and especially young men in the past 25 years. And this is what happens when or what can happen when when you go there. And what are we doing? We're just perpetuating that. We're just you should feel. I mean, you're privileged. If you don't feel privileged, then you just don't know what it is. Picard, he had it easy. He was on easy mode. Now he's in real life. you know, he's just going to have to struggle and be an old guy and do this for whatever reason. But let's like look at what it really is, okay? The only reason you're using Picard is because people loved him. Okay?
Yeah, it's the tree fort again.
Yeah,
right?
you're taking Picard and you're using him because people loved him. And then you're showing everyone, oh, look, like he's just a miserable old man. He's not the hero that you thought he was. We're going to break him down and turn him into nothing because we can. Why do you think that's entertaining?
Well, of course, you're not asking me. But why do you think they do it? Do you think it's because they would rather get their message out than actually be truly entertaining to tell a good story?
I don't think they care about being entertaining at all.
Yeah.
I think that's what I'm saying when I was going back to the Simon Sinek and like ask why. I think these companies have long ago they've lost the plot. You know? I mean, it used to be, let's entertain a generation. Let's inspire. Let's give them something to aspire to, right? But now it's no, you're privileged, you're fucked unless you're, you know, one of these people that we think is higher up on the intersectional feminism scorecard, then fuck you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, that's certainly going to make 38% of the fucking people in the world feel great, or in the United States.
Yeah, I'm just looking up who is in charge of this thing. You know, what's incredible to me is I'd heard there's over 20 producers on this show. Can you imagine? 20 people in a room deciding what to do, and there's something like 7 or 8 writers on it.
What do they do? I mean, I don't understand the point.
How would
I don't
you
know why this show exists.
Well, at some point it was probably, you know, this might have been dreamed up 10, 20 years ago even. You know, like, hey, let's do a series. We'll bring back Picard with his own show. You know, give him back the Enterprise F, right?
Mm-hmm.
Have him do adventures. You know, bring on cameos. Have Data come back. Have Worf come back. Do whatever you want.
I mean, this is like, you know, you look at this woman. This is what they hate. She's physically expressive. She's beautiful. You know, it's like, okay, that doesn't mean she's stupid. It doesn't mean she's incapable. It doesn't mean, you know, I date beautiful, capable women all the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, dude, this photo was like a lightning rod today. That pissed people off.
It's amazing to me, you know, or like you look at, like, you remember one of the guys, Sierra, right? Like when he made that post about Captain Marvel a few weeks ago, like 400,000.
That's right.
Yeah. Replies.
Yeah.
They like a, you know, like you said, like a lightning rod. They're like swarm attack.
I forget. Remind me what the post was again. That was a little while ago.
I think he's got it. I mean, I think he has it like pinned. If we want to go look at it.
That's okay. Just I remember actually taking some time to break down what he did. I was like, aha. Is somebody picked it up that was basically an influencer on the other side, and then it just exploded because of that.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple. Like, yeah, see, here it is. He's got it pinned right there. When you see this and hope for this, but end up with this.
That's right. Yeah, and that's funny because that was something that was floating around the internet a year ago, right?
Yeah, he turned it off because he had like over 400,000.
Okay, yeah, that's funny.
You know, because, like, you know, she came out, some, you know, her publicist got a hold of her, said, show some cleavage, give some leg, look pretty, and smile. And you know what? It worked.
I was gonna say,
the ratings went through the roof for that Tonight Show.
It did. Yeah, I approve. Maybe I'll go see the second one.
You know, So we'll see what happens there. Who knows? But, you know, it did work, and the feminists didn't like it at all. The feminists thought that, huh?
Oh no, sorry. Keep going. Sorry.
I was just saying, you know, the feminists didn't like it at all. They thought that, you know, he should not say that at all. It was like, what's that smell? Fragile masculinity. Okay. I guess it's fragile masculinity to have a particular type now. We're not allowed to want beautiful women, X.
Oh, well, that's unfortunate. Do I have to change my my approach? Nah, I don't think so.
I mean, I'm not gonna all of a sudden like, you know, chubby purple-haired women just because society tells me to. Society can go fuck itself.
Yeah, I'm with you there. That's,
you know, I'm just not going to give the fucks. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, there are some, I only have so many fucks to give, and society doesn't get any.
Mm-hmm.
You know, my values are a little bit different than that. And I mean, if I want, you know, I just think it's sort of funny, but I mean, that's what, you know, we're going to, right? Because that's what it seems to be. It's a certain, I don't know, it's like a distended version of Puritanism, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this was crazy too. Another, like, did you see this? Amber Heard exposed in new audio. She screamed, "Nobody will believe a white male."
I know. It's like the cracks are maybe forming, man. Like, I didn't see the response from the far left on this. Did you? So that's the part I'm curious about.
Well, they don't know what to say. I mean, what are they going to say? Like, she comes out and she says that. And you know, I mean, that basically says what everybody's been saying forever. What privilege, bitch?
Mm-hmm.
What privilege?
See, I think this is the stuff that sometimes, like, Tim Pool talks about a lot, where people who are moderate left to centrist to, well, yeah, I'll say those two things, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're not sure. And then the far left, when you hear about things like this, they're kind of showing their hand, in a sense, on her comment.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they definitely are, because I mean, she's literally said it right there. You know, nobody will believe a white male. And that's, I mean, isn't that really the end all be all? It's like everybody's got to say except us.
That's right. And I guess that's why we might as well talk about this stuff in public, which, here's my segue, because I meant to bring it up.
Mm-hmm.
Did you catch the fucking watershed thing with Weinstein 2 days ago? So I haven't heard anybody in this community.
Oh my God, that he's he's a biological female.
Like, wow.
Okay. Rose sucked something, she said. So
yeah. Okay, yeah. So I didn't follow it up. I was too busy today. Isn't that nuts? Because, like, he's basically vilified. He's the epitome worldwide in all of history as the worst white, rich example of patriarchy, right?
Mm-hmm.
It turns out he's maybe not a dude. I don't know. Is that definitive yet? Like, is he a chick? Is he...
I don't know. I mean, like again, like, you know, Rose said she sucked something. So what was she doing? You know, has he got parts down there? Is he a cyborg?
Let me see here. Okay, I'm just gonna look and see what mainstream media is doing here.
Sure, man.
Guess what? Just my Google top page.
Okay.
There's no mention of it because they're gonna fucking bury this if they can.
All right, you want to talk a minute? I'll find it and I'll pull up. Huh?
You keep talking. I'm looking at it.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh yeah, but I mean, you know, again, like, we're just going into this whole, like, nobody will believe a white man. When she just flat out says that about Johnny Depp. She sliced his finger open. Dude got MRSA, nearly died in the hospital 3 or 4 times. Finally made it, and he was victimized.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what I think it is, man? I really do. We were talking about this earlier. Is I mean, I read all these books lately, but one of those books I was reading most recently was talking about relationships and the dynamics of them. And one of the paradigms that exists within the law of attraction is the helper focus and the victim mentality. And okay. I really believe that a lot of these people, they exhibit a strong victim mentality, and all these morons have like a helper focus. They believe that, like, that's how they show love. You know what I mean? To make themselves better, though, not the group, themselves. It doesn't, you greedy fucks. You do this because it makes you better, not because you want to help society, not because you believe in anything. You do it for you.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, that's the thing about, you know, my pretty innocent tweet. All these people are fucking talking about themselves and what they want to see on this TV show. But, you know, I don't want to see me or anything particular. I just want to see cool stuff.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's why they end up, yo, what's up, Troy? That's why they end up like, you know, these male intersectional feminists or whatever, like, they're always dicks.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I mean, I would say like 70% of the time these guys are assholes. Complete creeps.
Dude, if you're a dude calling yourself a feminist, and I don't mean, you know, not necessarily revealing it in a conversation, but that's your banner. That's what you wear on your Twitter.
I mean, if you were to ask me what I am, I'm so tired of the word. I would say egalitarian. I do believe in true equality for everybody. Okay, I believe in that true fucking equality. But guess what? I mean, I took economics, people. I know what true equality means. Okay, so I will go with, and when I say took it, I mean I have a BS in economics. I have a bachelor's of science in economics.
Don't you think that most people,
Huh?
don't you think most people who are normal would be egalitarian, even if they don't even know what it
Yes,
means?
I think that. I mean, I think without that just is without requisite, without like yeah, you know, if you just go to like, what do you think? You think people should get equal rights? Yeah.
Yeah, it's like just people have a sense of fair play. Normal, it's just like, well, yeah, it's not fair that this is happening, and most people are going to say, yeah, you're right. That's not cool.
You know what's funny? Do you know why they've kind of created these words instead of saying like fair or fairly or those sort of things? Because the fair is one of the words that was found in the 1980s. The FBI did this whole thing on like words because they were trying to fine tune their negotiation tactics. And one of the things that they found is that when you say, I'm going to treat you fairly, they immediately assume the opposite.
Okay, that's interesting.
So they've created all these other kind of terms, right, to sort of bounce over that. Instead of saying fair, fairly, or, I'm going to treat you, in a fair and equitable manner. Remember, they used to say that. They don't say that anymore.
Right.
Now, what they will say sometimes is something like, I'm going to try to treat you as fairly as possible. If at any time you feel like you're not being, then let me know. Because again, I think I told you before that like one of the things that you have to do is you have to put it in their court. Like it's you do an open-ended question and you leave the ball in their court so they feel like they're making the decision. You know what I mean? But all these people, they don't want to do that. They want to do like, they kind of want to bounce over the whole idea of fairness because they know that immediately if they were to say that people would fight back against it. Because the truth is it's not.
So I'm just reading about Harvey Weinstein's genitals.
That's a sentence I never thought I'd hear you say.
Yeah. Ooh, me too. Yeah. Oops. Okay, so I got to the bottom of this. So this is not in the mainstream media at all. I had to dig for 5 minutes.
Okay.
So, I mean, he's been championed, or I guess he's been vilified as the symbol of, I mean, he's what started Me Too with, which was the actress?
Well, he wasn't the what started it. What started it was the lady. I can't remember her name right now. Tamara something. Uh-huh. And I mean, honestly, like her movement was actually pretty pure and pretty awesome, pretty based. Yep. And she even said it's not about, victims. It's not about the accused. It's about people. It's about, making sure that people are held responsible. And she was actually even saying, like she said that the people who had, who the affected needed to be like more, like they were flawed and that they had messed up too. And they needed to own that so that the entire cycle could end. That it wasn't just, like, let's just believe victims. That wasn't her thing.
No. But what I mean is that when it hit the mainstream press big time, it was
that was Rose McGowan. Yeah, Rose McGowan and Harvey Weinstein, and like the whole thing with like Ben Affleck was like, I told him to stop doing that.
So what I'm thinking though is that when I saw this on Twitter a couple of days ago, I thought it was pretty wild that they basically had courtroom sketches of photographs of him, which was kind of vague, and the truth will come out one of these days.
I just thought he was a fat guy. I mean, it's it's the truth is unless you're pretty loaded. If you're fat, it shrinks.
But what I'm getting at is you would think this would be front page news.
Yeah.
But as a white male, he's the ultimate
target. I mean, as the like face of, corruption in Hollywood.
If it turns out that he's not actually a fucking male, this blows the whole thing apart. I mean, that breaks that narrative so badly. So it's not in the news there. I had to go in about 5 pages deep into Google to the Sun.
If he's not a male, every one of them women, I'm like, what were we doing?
Well, yeah.
What happened?
And here's the headline from the Sun from a model, not someone I know. She says that his genitals looked as though they'd been amputated and then sewn back on. So I'm thinking that Weinstein is either a chick, which is weird considering what he looks like, but okay, I've seen worse, or that he's a trans person or something, who knows, something in between. But I mean, he's basically, it sounds like he's a very intersectional guy or person, or Zur, I guess is correct, right?
Wow.
Doesn't that blow up their whole, doesn't that really Isn't that a crushing blow?
So he's a Zur with a utility belt.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
That's fucked up.
like he might be a chick who had a penis transplant, or I mean, this is weird shit. You would think this would be buzzing across the media, but it's not out there at all. I haven't heard one.
Well, I mean, neither was the Amber Heard thing until months later.
That's right.
Until Johnny Depp got a little bit of, because, the whole thing happened. And remember, like J.K. Rowling, like they threw her under the bus about this because she took Johnny Depp's word.
Yep.
And kept him on her show, on her movie. And the feminists went nuts. They like completely attacked, her name is actually Joanne K. Rowling. Yep. And went after her, and she got off the media for a while. And and everybody was like, they always eat their own. I mean, what it is that everybody screws up, man. Everybody makes mistakes, you know what I mean? And I don't know, like in a relationship, right? Any kind of relationship, we're all going to screw up. The one you stay with is the one who like accepts your screw ups and works through it. You work through it like for each other, not so that you feel better, not so that she feels better, but for each other, for your future, because you think it's worth it.
Yep.
But like cutting off your finger with a bottle, I mean, whew.
Yeah, that's rough.
He bought her an island, a whole damn island.
Yep.
Wasn't that enough? I mean, I don't know. I mean, that's bad. That's just material. Obviously, I don't. This woman's. I mean, you got to have some deep-seated issues to break a bottle and cut somebody's finger off. I mean, what's the worst you've had a woman do to you that was physically injurious?
Okay, now this is gonna get good. Okay, so Jennifer. Okay, is that not necessarily her real name? Remember we were talking about Perfect Lips on Twitter a month or so ago?
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Sent you that photo of that girl, the redhead.
Yeah.
So she was a model, and we got together like 20 years ago, and then back again, and that was just us recently.
It was because of the lady in X-Files has the perfect lip.
Yes, and this girl is like a very tall, slimmer version of Gillian Anderson.
Yeah, okay.
So you can picture what I'm talking about.
Yeah, got it. I see it.
Dating, and then she was out of town for a bit, so I met this ballet dancer, also a redhead. Won't say her name so people can't put the pieces together.
Yeah.
She was up in my place, and I was on this 3-story walk-up, and I had these really tall arched windows, maybe like 5-6 feet.
Okay.
And so Jen had managed, she could see somebody moving around. She was spying on me from about a block away. She knew there was a girl there. So she called my phone, and basically the dancer, she got the fuck out of there as quick as she could out the back door. And then Jen buzzed me at the front door, and I could tell something was wrong in her voice. So I went down and I let her in. And I mean, we're talking about a close to 6 foot, close to, and she was also a dancer, but she did, you know what color guard is?
Colored guard. Yeah. With the, the streamers and everything.
Yeah, and they're really good. Like, she could throw a rifle, 8 feet in the air, have it spin 9 times, and then catch it, kind of while dancing and stuff. Pretty cool chick. So I opened the door, like just partly. She grabbed it and kicked me in the chest, and then went sprinting up the stairs because, like I said, it's a 3-story.
Okay, wait a minute. Did she had the rifle, or you were bringing it to her?
No, she had nothing in her hands.
Okay.
And but I wasn't expecting anything like that. But she kicked me because she was so flexible and so strong that she caught me, basically in my chest, half knocked me down, and I went tearing up after her on the stairs. And she turned around and she fucking kicked me again down the stairs, but harder. And I went all the way down 1 flight of stairs.
Jesus, dude.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite ones.
That's one of my favorites.
So she went anyway.
We got to work on your words.
So she went up to my place, looked around. The other girl was gone.
Yeah.
And then, yelled a bit.
What's she gonna do? Kill her? I mean,
so, well, I don't know, maybe. And she grabbed my phone charger. I had this really fancy, like Motorola sort of speakerphone, like a $400, like my speakerphone.
Yeah.
Right. Picked it up, and just threw it so hard into the wall. I have plaster walls, smashed it. And then I'm like, well, shit. So the new girl is now on foot, and she lives about, maybe 8 blocks east of me.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh shit. What if Jen goes looking for her in her car? I better find her first. So I went off on foot, trying to have my best guess at which way she's going.
Yeah.
And Jen comes tearing around the corner in a silver Ford Fiesta and tries to run me over, and doesn't miss by very much. And I kind of, basically, like, I swear to God, it's a true story. So, okay, ultimately, I ducked into bushes. I got on a schoolyard. I managed to catch Christine just as she was going into her place, and we lived for another day. But this went on for a while. So that's one of my favorite ones. But I've had a lot of women try to run me over. Cars. And the one time I had Denise.
Have you ever thought maybe you should stop that? Yeah. Whatever the behavior that is creating women who want to run you over, maybe you should diminish that behavior.
Maybe. Or, you're right.
Shit, you're funny, dude.
Maybe the behavior. Remember I showed you the picture of the Booth Babes? Also not that one.
Yeah.
So the one in the top left with the black bob.
Okay.
And the cleavage. She also had a silver car. But it was a Civic hatchback. And she pulled the same thing on me. And I pulled my same thing. This is a couple of years later. And I did the schoolyard thing. But she basically got up off the road and broke through the fence. And then chased me across a field in the winter in a silver car. And not wholeheartedly, or else I wouldn't be here anymore.
Wow.
So the moral of the story is don't date women who drive silver hatchbacks. Right?
Or don't fuck around on them.
Well, that's a good one too.
Oh, Jesus, man. Okay, so anyway.
Yeah. So that's one of my stories. But this shit happens all the time, man. So it's all good.
I have never had any of that happen. I had a girl throw a knife at me.
Ooh, okay.
That was kind of interesting. It was I don't know. I mean, she wasn't drunk or anything. We had a discussion. She was a stripper, and I went to see her at her club a couple of times, and I was okay with it. And then we started going out. We were dating. Everything was cool. But it just, I don't know, it started to wear on me. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I finally, and we'd always agreed we were going to play it, loose and straight, right? Just whenever, if you don't feel it, just let me know. Mm-hmm. So she'd come over, and I made sure it was before, because I thought I was being, I thought I was being a good steward of her affections and everything. I'm like, all right, well, I don't want to have sex with her or anything, because she'd come over. I'd make some breakfast or something. We had sex, and then I wanted to stop it, right? So we started talking, and I said, "Look, I don't think this is going to work as a relationship. We can be friends. I'm not asking it friends with benefits, but we can be friends." And she's like, "Oh, okay." And I'm like, "Cool." And I was like, "So you want some breakfast?" And she's like, "Sure." And I walked to 6 feet, and she screamed. Like a high-pitched scream. And I just turned. And as soon as I turned, there was a knife went right by my head. Whoosh. I was like, whoa! And then I was like, what the fuck are you doing? And she's like, I can't believe you. And, it's one of those like kind of silly fights, right? And then she just ran out the door and left. And that was it.
Okay, well, good thing she wasn't a knife thrower. Right.
I don't know where she got the knife. Nope. It wasn't from my house.
Huh.
So she must have just had it in her purse.
Oh, sure. Most chicks I know carry knives in their purse.
Like for defense or something. And she just threw the knife at me.
That's normal.
I didn't think it was. But I wasn't going to go after her after that. I can tell you that. Yeah. I was like, all right, well, I dodged a bullet.
Dude, I haven't even broken up with my wife yet. That's going to be a fun one. Or vice versa.
Well, yeah. I mean, you kind of are broken up.
Oh, yeah.
Just not officially.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, she doesn't even want to be in the same house. Like she, you broke up the day that she had the 3 flutes.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
No, we'd rather be in separate countries, actually. I mean, I talk about it, but I'm half kidding. But in the same room, there could be, will I be feeling threatened? Maybe from experience.
I mean, is it like, Pink and what is it, Harley or whatever his name is, Hartley? Her husband. She always used to say that, like, she's like, the thing about the two of us is that we'll scream at each other, but if you get us you get us into a locked room, then we're having babies.
Wait, do you mean Pink, the pop star?
Yeah.
Oh shit, I met her husband. Carey Hart.
Carey Hart, that's him. Yeah, he used to be a BMX guy, wasn't he?
Yeah. And this tattoo on my right wrist was done in his shop. It was
in Las Vegas?
Yeah. Yeah, it was called Hart and Huntington. I've got the ball cap on. And a guy named Twiggy, really cool, skinny black guy, ex-military.
Mm-hmm.
He did my second son's, got really, really nice ornamentation on my wrist from the same shop that was on the TV show.
Oh, cool.
It was kind of cool because it looks sort of big on TV, but it's actually, it's kind of a little dive. It's probably maybe like 800 square feet, and they're all crammed together. But when you walk into a store, you haven't watched them on reality TV for 2 years.
Yeah.
Because they don't act like, Vegas is so weird that they don't act like celebrities and nobody really treats them like it.
Man, when I went to Vegas, I've gone to Vegas a few times. I got a friend out there named Evan. His dad owns one of the entertainment firms out there. And so they get a bunch of work. They're in the penthouse in the Bellagio.
Mm-hmm.
And he invites us, as in, I met him playing an MMORPG called Shadowbane. And if anybody knows who that is, I have just dated the fuck out of myself.
Sure.
But met him playing that game. We started a guild together, did some cool things in the game, and ever since then we've been friends. And he not every year, it's like once every like 2 or 3 years now. They get a lot of comps for the shows and everything to give to the clients that come in. And so when he gets a bunch of them stacked up, and there's enough for like all of us, because there's like 5 or 6 of us that are out there still, he'll call us and be like, "Hey boys, come on in for drinks or whatever. And if we can pay the flight and the hotel, everything's free."
Nice. Very nice.
We can pay like, and I mean, the hotel is like, I don't know, it's expensive, but not that bad. But it's basically, if you can get there, then, everything's free. Your food, your drinks, your shows, like other entertainment if you want it. I mean, they even, they've got some comps that they don't talk about.
Yep. Uh-oh. You okay?
I'm fine. It's just a stupid chair. It's like the gears on it are a little worn, so they pop loose because they're just plastic, and so then it'll go pop like that.
Cool. You need to get yourself a. I have the chair. I'm sitting in it right now.
You have the chair?
The chair.
Is that what it's called?
The Aeron, the black one.
Okay.
That's the one. It's like every lazy like prop master on a movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, it's a high-tech boardroom. We'll get 6 Aeron chairs. But they're kind of like, they're the mesh, sort of with the curve. You've seen it 1,000 times, but they're kind of people don't talk about it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like a Fight Club.
I don't remember. This was like a $400 or $500 chair at the time, but I need to get another one. It's like 2 or 3 years old, so it's just wearing out. I just got to buy a new one. Maybe I'll buy one after Sin starts selling.
After we make 6 figures on Sins, sure.
There we go.
Yeah.
So Troy says botched penis enlargement surgery, and I think he was telling me that like they're using flags, not streamers. Like, yeah, you're probably right there, Troy. So I don't know. That's the kind of deal that we've got going on. But this is all just screwed up, man. I'm just so tired of the narrative that like it's okay to shit on a white guy.
Yep.
I mean, that's really what we're coming down to. It's like what they want to teach is and that seems to be what they want to teach, is that like it's okay to shit on a white guy and you should just shut up and take it. Well, no, I'm not going to shut up and take it. I don't have a victim helper mentality. If I'm going to help somebody, it's going to be because I want to help them, for the betterment of society or contribute to something greater than myself or them. You know what I mean? I don't think that like it's going to help me. It doesn't make me feel good to help people in such a way that like, oh, like I'm proud of myself. I helped 6 people today. I don't keep a goddamn scorecard. You know what I mean?
I think like I don't break it down in the same way because in a lot of ways I'm more pragmatic.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the heart of the Phantom Menace, and that's the heart of Comicsgate. and the two things are different, but everybody sort of gets along for the most part.
Yeah, I mean, I think people just want to. I don't know. They want to make it out. I saw it today. Like everybody wants to make. They want to make Comicsgate out to be like a hate group. They want to make Phantom Menace out to be a hate group. They want to make everything out to be a hate group. And the reason why they want it to be a hate group, in my opinion, is because again, they want like they want to just control it, and they want to say no. Well, if you're not with us, then you're against us. And that's a stupid mentality. There's supposed to be diversity of thought, diversity of outreach, diversity of understanding. We're supposed to be able to like to disagree and be okay with it, because in disagreement, in becoming uncomfortable, we get better. And but what it's come to is that like if you disagree or you're white, you don't matter.
Yeah. So to my point, Comicsgate is very much, it's very diverse in every sense. But it is a bunch of, well, no, fuck. There's so many women now that are so forefront in the Phantom Menace who are all supporting Comicsgate at the same time that I just think we're just basically ignoring all the politics because nobody has time for it. We're too busy making stuff that's better than most of the mainstream work.
Yeah.
And I think, I don't know, just without getting without analyzing the motivation of these people, they want to break down the patriarchy, the establishment, whatever you want to call it. We're like, okay, go ahead and make your Picard show, do whatever you want to, but we're going to be over here making better stuff. And we haven't been live since the whole Stallone deal happened. But I mean, to me, that's just really, really energizing. That's the mainstream crossing over a little bit. And I think Stallone's even a little bit left. I'm not sure, but if I recall,
I mean, I would say that Stallone is probably left because he's in Hollywood, and I don't know if you could survive Hollywood without being left. But I mean, I don't think it matters. I mean, the thing is like, to me, that's not so much of anything as just that's a contract. You know what I mean? That's like, to me, like what I got out of that entirely was that Stallone wanted to take, he wanted to show people that this has an audience. And this is a way he can show somebody quickly that it has an audience. If he can make, 50, 60, 70, I mean, if he makes $100,000 in a week, you know what I mean? On just a nothing comic book that he probably paid, $10,000 at most to have made, then like that's something he can show Hollywood and be like, look, see, there is an audience for this, and he can show people his Twitter and be like, look, couple, like 100,000 people or whatever, like came out like this many impressions. Because I mean, if a comic book will do that, then a movie will do, 100 times that or 100,000 times that. So to me, that's all that was, is like a proof of concept. And he wanted to pay somebody to do it, and Chuck Dixon was like, his boy for whatever reason. I mean, I think like Dynamite had they said that Dynamite Comics like had the franchise at first or whatever, had the contract at first, and then they lost it. They let it lapse. And so then it was just kind of out there, and Chuck was like, hey, we could get this. And so, they paid for it and they got it. That was it. I mean, it's not really that big of, I don't know. Like a lot of people are trying to make it out like, oh, we're breaking into Hollywood and everything. I mean, if you got the money, you can buy that stuff. It's out there. If you have the contacts.
Yeah, Dynamite they own a ton of IPs that don't do very much. Yeah, you can have them.
I mean, Transformers is going to come up pretty soon, I would think. Well, I guess not, because they just had a movie. So they're coming out with another movie, which is why they keep doing those, just so they can keep those rights. You know what I mean? And then IDW, though, I don't know. Like, IDW's got a crap ton of rights as well that have got to lapse sometime. Because they're so far in the negative, it's not even funny anymore. But I do think that that's really great because, I mean, like you have Hollywood contacts and you've been kind of reticent, a little reluctant to talk to them, but you could say, hey, Stallone's repping it.
Oh, I'll get there. In fact, I might get there sooner than later. That was the whole point to me, was that if Stallone could lend his name to something.
And he's repped it more than once. He's done it like a couple of times on Twitter. They said he did it on Facebook, and it's all over the media everywhere.
Yep.
Now I have noticed that like most of the media, except Bleeding Cool, has removed Richard's name.
Okay, that's not surprising.
That's not surprising?
No, not surprising at all.
Okay.
Well, of course it did.
I mean, technically they can, because again, and the reason why they're able to do that, everybody's going to say they can't do that. Well, they can because Richard's a contractor.
Yeah, I mean, I'm working on plenty of things where I don't expect, as long as I get paid, I don't expect to get called out. If I do,
and I mean that's why they're allowed to do it, because technically it's Sly's story.
Mm-hmm.
So what were you going to say?
It's cool. Keep going. It's fine.
I'm gonna say technically it's Sly's story, and Chuck's writing it or whatever. But I mean, I think everybody knows that, like, Richard's so excited about this. He loves it so hard. You know what I mean? And he said that, this reminds him of the camaraderie. Like Expendables always reminded him of the camaraderie of the military and everything. And I mean, why not get excited for the guy? What is it going to hurt? Like all these people to just get excited for the guy. I see this kind of thing, oh, well, why would you want it associated with Comicsgate? Like whether you want it associated with Comicsgate or not, it's Richard. It's going to be.
Yeah, it is.
It doesn't matter if someone does it by name or not. Doesn't matter what Rich says. All these people out there, if they haven't said anything yet, if they find out, they're going to. I mean, well, if they're going to, then they're going to. If they're not, then they're not. I mean, I would, it seems like what Richard really wants to do is make movies. And I hope he can do that.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, why not?
Mm-hmm.
If he can put those stories together and those scripts and he can start sending some stuff out to SAG and get it optioned, then why the hell not? Good for him.
I think it's awesome. Yeah, it helps me to cross the line and sort of come out, if you will.
You're not going to say you're like trans feminist, are you? Are you not? I mean,
no, but I can come out as come out as Comicsgate, basically.
There you go. Yeah,
I did with somebody very prominent in games and comics, one of the biggest names, and I just told him last week. So,
really?
Yep. So we'll see what happens. He's probably sleeping on it.
Well, it sounds fantastic to me. Troy says, "Oh yeah, you're white. Your opinion doesn't matter." And I'm not white, but I don't want to live in an America not run by white people. I mean, I don't think it matters as far as that. But I think we are running out of steam here. We've kind of said what we wanted to, which is that, Hollywood thinks white people suck, especially men. And that's not helping. That's not helping. I mean, you wonder why, you got more mass shootings, more suicide, like the suicide rate has gone up. The suicide rate of, white men in the military has raised 28% in the past 15 years. You want to know why that's happening? Because people feel alone. This is what happens when you do this. You make people feel alone. You make them feel like they don't have any way out. They feel like they're not any good. They're overprivileged and they still suck and life sucks. And they get into a feedback from hell, and then they shoot themselves, or they go out the hardest way possible. Maybe give them a choice and see what happens.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. Yep. All right. So with that, let's close it up. So, all right. Zevious, can we reach you at Zevious?
Yep, that's where I'm at.
And that's Twitter, Instagram, pretty much everywhere, folks. And you can find me at the Buddy Lord on Twitter, or go to bladenight.com. Check out the book, Sins of the Fae. We got a nice trailer up now. Looks beautiful. It's my pinned tweet. Check it out.
All right.
All right. So I think we're out of here, man.
Okay, guys. Have a great weekend. Good night.
Good night.